Hi everybody, I just wanted to do a update video on how I've been doing since the surgery. My surgery was on June the 3rd of 2014, so today is January the 11th, 2015. So it's been 7 months, and I mean, time flies by. Sorry I haven't gotten you an update up to now, but I had someone who found some of my previous videos that I posted about the questions that I posed to the surgeon and a couple of my appointments that I'd had, and just hadn't updated it yet. I think it's just because I've been so excited and I've been energetic since the surgery, and I've just been living my life. And I think that that's what you're going to find that happens with you if you have the surgery. But to give you just a little bit of background, first I encourage you to watch those other videos because it's really going to bring you up to speed on everything that was going on with me and the questions that I asked the surgeon and then got answered and all that ultimately. But to give you a bit of background, I'm right at about 5'8". I was at 214 pounds, and all of my weight, I was like an apple. All of my weight was in the middle, boobs, belly, not so much my legs. My legs have always been fairly thin, but it was just all the way through the middle. And I was having a lot of problems just with my health in general. I mean, my blood pressure was starting to go up really high. I was pre-diabetic. My doctor was on to me about the weight, and she said that the next time we check your A1C, you're going to be diabetic. And she said if you don't get this weight off. So that really scared me, and that's the reason I went in. But my BMI was at 33. So a lot of you watching this might be thinking, well, wait a minute, I don't agree with that, her having that surgery. And I get that. There's a lot of people, even the ones that are have experienced the surgery, that would say, that they don't agree with that. And I just wanted I just want to say about that this decision is individual. It's everybody makes their own decision based on their own tolerances of what they're dealing with and just their whole outlook on how they would rather tackle a problem. There's just a lot of people out there that just are more natural to react to a problem, wait until it's a problem to deal with it then. And I do that too to some degree with some things in my life. I think we all do that, but then there comes a point in time where some of us are a little different in that if we can see a problem coming, if you really do feel like you've got a view, a little crystal ball, so to speak, if you kind of feel like you're looking into the future on what's going to happen with your health, like if you know pretty sure that you're going to be diabetic, or you know pretty sure that there's going to be, something that's going to affect your health significantly, then there's some of us that can be a little more proactive to try to head that off. And that's where I was when I made the decision to do the surgery. I made the decision to do the surgery at a BMI of 33 because I didn't want to wait until I was sick at a BMI of 35 or 38 or 40. It's like, at what point in time was I going to get it? If I didn't get it then, it was just going to be after I was sick, more sick than I was, or actually full blown diabetic. And I just didn't want to do that. I felt like the train was barreling down the tracks, and it was just a matter of time before I got to that point of being sick and being more reactive by having the surgery as a reaction to my bad health rather than a proaction. So anyway, that's just where I was, and I have since June. It's been 7 months now. I have lost down from 214 down to about 160, and so and in between those times, I want to let y'all know I didn't go from 214 to 160, just right off the bat. I did lose quite a bit in the beginning. I'd say in the first 4 to 6 weeks, I lost quite a bit, but I've hit plateaus about every 2 months going, through this process. So I would go a couple of months and just not lose any weight, but my clothes would continue to feel a lot looser. And so I just really haven't gotten on the scales that much. And maybe that's counterintuitive to a lot of people that may be listening to this. They may think, well, gosh, I think I'd be on the scale every day. But I'm not, my mind isn't made up as far as how good I feel based on the number on the scale. I just made a decision a long time ago that did not matter, that my health was based on um, just some basics of I'm not wearing a size of clothes that would indicate that I'm way too heavy. Like right now, I'm in a size 12, comfortably a 12. Some of my 12s are a little bit loose, and I could probably wear like an 11, but a 10 is too small. So 12 is just about right for me right now. But that's how I judge, is how I feel in my clothes. It's being able to bend over and zip up my boots or tie my shoes without coming up, being completely out of breath or whatever. So, there's just other ways that I measure the fact that my quality of life is completely opposite the way that it was 7 months ago. I have a lot more energy than I did before. I think it's just because I feel lighter on my feet. My knees don't hurt as bad. My back doesn't hurt as bad. In fact, my knees just really don't hurt at all, except for the fact that I need to get my knee fixed. I mean, that's a problem. It's probably from carrying that weight around for so long on a knee that's already had surgery twice, and so it's probably going to need it. But my back doesn't chronically hurt, and my knees don't chronically hurt. So that's just been really great. Dr. Kim was my surgeon, and he uses it's the scope that they use for the EDG, and it is about a 34 French size bougie from what I've been told. A 32 bougie is what you may be hearing about on a lot of videos, or if you're doing a lot of research, you may be hearing about the 32. And 32 is just a little bit more narrow of a tube that they would make, because the device that they put down in there is only going to let them make your stomach, so big around. But they used a 30. They didn't use a bougie on me. They used the EDG scope, the endoscope, which is about the size of a 34. So I really am happy that happened with me. I had read a lot about those 32s being really too narrow, and that it can cause strictures, which is just that narrowing of the space, and that there can be this corkscrew effect. If it's too skinny, then the corkscrew effect of that tiny little tube can start to happen, and if that happens, just the food doesn't go through your stomach like it needs to. So I was really glad to hear in my research that they use the EDG endoscope tool itself to make that tube, and so therefore they just don't have that twisting, and they don't have the strictures involved in that. And my capacity is just a little bit bigger, so I can eat. I'll give you an analogy. I don't encourage anybody to eat out fast food, but it will happen in your life, and it's okay. It's just what we're after is to try to live normally, right? I mean, because the way we were eating before was not normal, and now what we're after is to eat normally. But I have driven through the Taco Bueno, and they have like a bean and cheese burrito. It's just refried beans with some cheese in a tortilla. I can eat one of those, and that's it. So that's my capacity. To me, that's quite a bit. Whereas before, I would have to eat 2 or 3 of those before I would even feel full. So the hunger aspect is quite diminished. I mean, it's diminished by a lot. When that bigger part of your stomach is removed, that's the portion where your majority of your hunger hormone, ghrelin, is produced. And so that's taken away. And my hunger is not always, it's just not there. I do feel the hunger. It's just not there constantly like it was. Like before, my hunger was like a static. It's like that white sound that you could hear if you turn your TV on the wrong input, and all you get is that white channel, and it makes that noise. That's kind of like what hunger was to me prior to the surgery. I was just always hungry, and it seemed like I had to eat like a linebacker in order to get satisfied with my appetite. And so now I don't have that white noise going on at all, except when I'm truly hungry. And when I'm truly hungry, I'm not ravenous like I was. Now I get a hunger pang, and I think normally it's just such a different thought process than I was before the surgery. It's just now I think, okay, I think it's time to eat, and I need to get something to eat. And naturally, I'm not wanting the junk foods. And I don't know all of y'all's situation, but mine, I wasn't particularly a sweets addict, but I was a volume of food addict and a carbohydrate addict. So now sweets are still not a problem for me. I don't crave the sweets. If they're around, I might take a couple of bites here or there, but I really have never had a palate for that anyway. But when it comes to carbs, yeah, I've definitely had an addiction for carbs. So after the surgery and after my hunger is now down to what I would call normal, my cravings for the carbs are not nearly as high as they were, but I do want those things. I mean, I still want some baked potato, or I still want, a piece of bread to go on my sandwich or whatever. But it's not out of control to where I'm not getting any protein. So I have more natural cravings now for the fruits and the vegetables and the protein. So I go for my proteins first to try to get that in, because at the end of the day, although I have a pretty decent capacity, I have limited capacity. And so I want the majority of that capacity to be for the protein. So I reserve for that and eat that first. And then after that, I may go for the fruits and vegetables after, unless I'm having a snack. If I'm going to have a snack right before bed or in between meals, it's almost always a fruit or just a bite of this and cheese and crackers or something like that in between. One of the things I've noticed that is really a significant thing for me is I cannot, it says in all the things you read, don't eat or drink 30 minutes prior to eating or 30 minutes after. I can pretty much drink my tea or drink water up until about 5 or 10 minutes before I'm going to eat and have no sensations of being too full or anything like that. But I absolutely cannot drink not even 1 or 2 swallows of water or tea or anything within at least 20 to 30 minutes after I eat. I have to wait that long, because if I don't, it's just like, you can imagine the food is in the stomach, it's in the sleeve, and so the water is now, or the tea is now coming down and it's sitting on top of what's in my stomach. And when it does that, it feels like it's heavy on it. It's that sensation of, oh, I've got something heavy right on top of my food that I just ate. And it causes that feeling of pressure to where, you've got your stomach tube, and then it's just kind of got that feeling of pressure, that there's pressure going out. It's not a pressure of up. I don't feel like, I'm going to be sick. And by the way, I haven't gotten sick from day one. I have not vomited one time in 7 months. And I wasn't a vomiter before. So I want to clarify that. But it's just that having the stomach surgery has not made me nauseous whatsoever. Not in a single time. And plus I had the hiatal hernia fixed, so that helped. But when I eat and when I try to drink on top of it, it's just a heavy, pressurized feeling. So it's just a bad sensation that you get that instant feedback of the sensations you're getting with your body, and it comes back and you just think, well, I just don't want to ever do that again. And then you're thinking, gosh, I'm so thirsty though. If I could just drink, and you take a couple of drinks, and it's just, then it gives you that feeling like you ate too much after turkey dinner or something. It's just a way too full feeling, and then it takes 15, 20 minutes for that sensation to go away. So then now you can drink. So if you'd have just waited the 20 or 30 minutes after you eat to have your full drink, then that would have been better than taking a couple of drinks and having to wait an extra 15 minutes to get over all that. So really it prolongs your ability to have something to drink afterward if you try to cheat on the drinks. So just an FYI tip on that. All right, so what else? Like I said, I was not really a sweets addict before I had the surgery, but I was a carb addict, and one of my addictions was cereal. And it's now I find myself not even able to drink milk, and I'll tell you why. It's just, I don't know if this is like a scientific reason why, but this is just my theory as to why that happens. Milk is just more than water. I know it's mostly made up of water, but it has enough substance in it of fats and a little bit of protein or whatever it's got in it, and the sugars. It's got enough of that in it to where it goes through my stomach just as fast as water does, but it's got that substance to it. It's got that sugar and those items that do turn into glucose before we can, expend it as energy. And when that happens, it's like that dumping syndrome that you've probably heard about, in that when you eat and you eat too fast and it goes through your system too fast, you get that dumping syndrome, and that's just a feeling of, it's just it's not really nauseating. It's just that you've gotten all these, your food is in your intestine before it's really fully digested, and it's just producing a bloated feeling, and it can kind of make you feel like you're going to go have diarrhea pretty fast. And I will tell you that it doesn't produce a diarrhea effect for me, but it gives you that sensation of, wow, how could what I just ate 30 minutes ago already be going through me? And I don't believe that that's what's happening. I think it's just, it causes whatever you ate, a meal prior to that, to just go ahead and come through your system a little faster, and it's just not a good sensation, and I don't recommend it. So I can't eat cereal anymore because of that sensation that it gives me. It's like the chewing up of the cereal and the milk being sort of a liquidy thing that I drink. I just can't do it. However, if I had a smoothie, a fruit smoothie or a vegetable smoothie, it doesn't do that to me. It's because it's a little thicker. Maybe it's because it's got that fibrous pulp and stuff in it, which makes it a little bit different than just milk and cereal. So just a little bit of FYI there on any of you out there that might have a cereal addiction like I did. Just get ready. You will be able to eat cereal again. Physically, you will. You're mentally, you're going to probably go for it because you've just habitually gone for that cereal at times, and you're probably going to want to do that again. But you need to pay attention to your body and that biofeedback that you're getting on whether or not you should really be doing that. And I'm a firm believer that if you get a feeling of being too full, or that there's pressure, or that you feel like your food's going through you too fast and all that, that's a signal that you need to change a behavior and not do that, because just don't do what hurts. Don't do what becomes uncomfortable, because we don't want to cause unnecessary pressure on the stomach. I mean, it's got staples in it. They'll be there for the rest of our lives, and we don't want to create a bunch of extra pressure on those. So we don't want to overeat. We don't want to eat the wrong things. So if your body is telling you that whatever you ate was a bad decision, then make a change for the next time. And so I guess what I'll do too is just kind of give you a view, and I want you to meet my daughter here in a second too, because I want her to tell you some things. But here's my full body shot. So kind of get by the window so you can kind of tell. I was a size 18 prior to the surgery and working on a size 20. And right now, these pants are size 12s, and they're the skinny jean type, so you can wear them with the boots and all that. So they are a little bit loose. I'm not wearing a belt or anything, but I can pull these down without undoing the snap and the zipper. And that kind of lets you know that I wouldn't be able to wear a 10, but I can wear a 12 pretty comfortably. So anyway, one of the things I wanted to say right quick is I think it's important for those of us that have little kids, whether you have sons or daughters or both, like I do. I have a daughter who's 9 and a son who is 12. And I had a conversation with them before I had the surgery, and I let them know that this is not about mom trying to be skinny, or mom trying to be, pretty, or trying to impress people or anything like that. That is absolutely not the reason I had the surgery. I had the surgery because I was sick, and I was getting sicker, and I wasn't going to be there as long as I wanted to, at least because of health reasons, for my kids. And I wanted to be available to them. I wanted to be a healthy mom. And I have explained to my daughter time and time again about the fact that this was for health, that this is not for any vain reasons, that this is not something that she needs to think of as, oh, well, you got to be skinny to be, happy, or any of that. That's just simply not it. And I have reiterated and reiterated that to her, and I hope that she's understood that. So she's being too bashful, though. She doesn't want to come over here and meet y'all. So I was just going to ask her, just kind of what she thought about the surgery, and have her tell y'all. Do you want to let them know how you feel about anything? You don't? Okay. Well, she's too bashful, and that's okay. But, we had the conversation once, and we will have the conversation again and again and again. And I think that's important for us women who have decided to have the surgery, or men, and we've got our children that are paying attention to what we've done. And if they get the impression that we are doing these things for vanity reasons, then that is going to plant the wrong seed in their minds, and that's not going to teach the right lesson to them. So I just think that we need to make sure that we let them know that this is for health. This is so that we're more available to them, and for ourselves to be more productive, to be healthier and available to them, to where we can go do more things. And it really promotes a healthy lifestyle to them. It doesn't promote, to me, it does not promote go get fat and then just, have a surgery when you need it. No, it's letting them know in their young, early blueprint years that, we take care of our problems. We're going to recognize when we have a problem, and we're going to address it and make it better. We're not going to just continue to get sick. That's not a good message either. So there she is. Do you think Mom is healthier than I was before?
Yeah.
And what about that surgery? Did that worry you for Mom to have a surgery a little bit? Did. So does it seem like I've got more energy for you now, or do I seem like I'm the same?
More energy.
More energy. So, it's just important for her to understand. Do you understand that this was for health? Or did Mommy do this so that I could, you know, get new shirts? No. So anyway, she's good kid. She's been very supportive, and she actually is learning a lot about cooking and healthier eating. And she brings me snacks and stuff all the time that's healthy snacks. So she's very health conscious as well. And the next step now that I'm plenty post-op and have gotten over the majority of my middle weight and all that, now it's time to get back into exercising and get the weights going. Because one thing you will notice, if any of you have that mid 30s BMI and then you're losing down like I have, you're going to feel like you're not as strong as you were. And I do get that sensation that I'm not as strong, and I'm not physically not as strong as I was. I mean, when you carry around 80 pounds over what you should, you're going to have some strength involved in it. And when you lose that, you're going to feel a bit of loss in strength. But the weight loss is so rapid that there is probably some loss of muscle in there somewhere, and especially not getting enough protein in the diet can do that to you. I noticed that if I don't get enough protein in my diet, my hair really starts to fall out. That's true. I've seen people on the YouTube videos over the years that's really significant for them, and I think that those are the ones that really are not eating hardly any protein. My hair will fall out. It just when you wash your hair and you can tell that your hair is coming out a little bit more. You can tell, and that's one of those items that your body will do to tell you where you need to make some adjustments. I take a 5,000 IU per day vitamin D, a chewable multivitamin. I take Pepcid just if I think I need to. I don't have any ulcer symptoms or anything like that, but I take one occasionally if I feel it, if I feel like I need it. But then there's a medication that my doctor prescribed too for the hair loss. It's supposed to tell the receptors of the hair on my head to hold on to the hair, and then it will tell the receptors everywhere else on my body to release the hair. So if you're starting to get some, peach fuzz or anything on your hair and things like that, sometimes you can talk to your doctor about the medications that do that. So anyway, that's about it. If y'all have any specific questions for me about my weight loss or my experience with the surgery, let me know. My daughter said that she wanted to say something else, so come here. What are you going to say? Okay. Oh, okay. She wants to tell you who my surgeon was.
Dr. Kim.
Yeah, I went to Dr. Kim.
And I really think that the surgery is really helpful to my mom. If it's helpful to my mom, then it can be helpful to other people too.
Yeah, we know that being too heavy equates to being unhealthy, and we know that sometimes people just need a little help getting the weight off. Mommy lost that weight, several times throughout your life, and it was just becoming obvious that it wasn't going to stay off, and it was going to keep making me sick. So we just took care of it, huh?
Yes.
Anyway, it's been a good decision for me. I would go back and do it again in a heartbeat. I had absolutely no problems with the surgery post-op or anything like that. It was just as smooth a sailing as you can possibly imagine. So we're going to turn this off, and again, just let me know if you have specific questions. You can post them below the video, and I'll be sure and get back to you, okay? Lindsay says bye, and Spinky says bye.